So welcome, Z. Go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Mary. And thanks, everyone. I'm really excited to be on the call. And thanks for taking the time. I know it's kind of last minute to answer those questions, but I just wanted to get an idea of kind of some of your backgrounds or struggles or, what you're doing in regards to what I cover. And I do want to give you guys my quick story, just a little bit of background on me and how I came to Beachbody. So I became a coach in June of 2015. I was a challenger for 2 weeks. I've got, probably a story that you've heard a lot of times. I wanted to lose some weight. I saw someone post on Facebook that I'd known from like 15 years ago. I joined a challenge group, and within 2 weeks, I was like, I want to coach. No one ever asked me to coach, so my coach never reached out, and it had only been 2 weeks, so I don't really blame her for that, but I just knew what I wanted. I had people asking me about it at work, and I'm a little bit of a control freak, and so I thought, I want to run my own groups, and that's really why I became a coach. And I was working full-time in corporate America. Those of you that work, I did a call for Scotty Hobbs's team a couple weeks ago all about how to work a full-time job and this, and I'm happy to share that with you guys because that was a good old hour just by itself. So I did jump into this business pretty quickly, shifting from like a hobby to a business builder. I just fell in love with the company. I really liked my job, but I saw a lot of potential here to live a totally different type of lifestyle. And I kind of ran with it. I was able to quit my corporate job about a year and a half later. So June of 2015, I became a coach. November of 2016, I started doing this full time. And so last January is when that was like the whole year I started working with Mary. I really didn't even know what elite was this time last year. So you guys are a step ahead of me. I think the first time Mary and I actually called and looked at numbers was either end of February or early March. Excuse me. And I came into the year as a diamond coach, and I was a 1-star pretty quickly because of my husband's account. So those of you guys, I think someone did say you feel like you're pretty far off. I will say there were people that were further ahead of me that quit on their goal. And the one thing I did, LinkedIn is not the secret. It's just what worked for me. It might be Instagram for you. It might be a totally different channel. There's no secret. LinkedIn was just one part of it. I really think the only thing I did was I just refused to quit on the goal. And so wherever you're starting doesn't matter, because I hate to say it, but there will be people that start further ahead than you, and you'll see them falling off. And it was really frustrating to see that, because I kept thinking why are you quitting? I'm not going to quit. And you're further ahead. You've got more stars than me. You're ranked higher than me. So that is probably the only thing I will tell you that was the secret sauce to hitting my goal last year, was I just fought till the very end. You're going to have a million losses. You're going to lose coaches that were your stars. You're going to lose people that you believed in more than anybody else. You're going to have, what I saw a lot of people get tripped up on is bad luck, I started the year with my 2 best coaches under my husband's account. The rest of the diamonds on my team that became diamonds were people I met in the year. My husband was one of them, obviously, but my 2 strongest coaches, January of last year, were under his account. And I just couldn't focus on that. I couldn't focus on they're not under me, my 2 best coaches. I just had to forget about it and, still, of course, encourage them and coach them, but I needed to get my 5 stars under me and not focus on the bad luck of misplacing them, right? Because it just is what it is. So before we get to LinkedIn, I'm going to give you guys a couple other just tips and things that I recommend and things that I did. So I asked the question about discount coaches, and a lot of you guys said you've got a lot of discount coaches. So when it comes to discount coaches, some of you might already be doing this, but here are some things that are very important to me when I run my team. I treat a discount coach exactly like a regular coach. So the minute they sign up, even if they told me I never want to work this business, I still send them my new coach training, and I still say, when do you have time to get on the phone? Because it's incredible how someone that swears to you they don't want to work the business, the minute you get them on the phone and you say, okay, well, let's talk about a goal. And they're like, I don't know. And you're like, well, what about a goal of having your Shakeology paid for? And all of a sudden they're like, yeah, let's do it. So don't treat your discount coaches as if they can't be something bigger. I've had discount coaches, actually, one of my top coaches started out as a diehard, like, don't you ever get me to sell anything. Team Cup is about to start, and that's an opportunity to reach out to your discount coaches and say, hey, I see something in you. I can only pick 4 other people on my team. I want you to be one of them. Even though you're a discount coach, I see something bigger in you. And that's my strategy for every Team Cup. I never work with the same people. I never work with my top Success Club people. I won't let them on my team because I'm not trying to win Team Cup. Like, that's just not, I mean, if we do, that's great. My first Team Cup, we hit top 10, and that was just like beginner's luck. And I don't care about it because it doesn't give me what I need today. I care about Team Cup. I don't want you guys to misunderstand me. It's a huge part of the year. My strategy with Team Cup is to help my newbies. If my only goal was to win, then I would have all my top coaches on my team. So reach out to discount coaches. Don't discount them. Okay. Make sure you're adding them to your team page and you're doing getting started right calls with them. Okay. I am going to jump into LinkedIn specifically because I feel like a lot of you guys want to learn about it. Most of you guys, is that kind of what you're hoping I cover today? Or do you want to talk more about like actually building up your coaches? Because I have notes for both and we can cover both. Anybody?
You guys have to speak up.
More to learn about like building up your coaches.
Okay.
Just because LinkedIn isn't something that I personally am going to wander off to. I have enough social media things that I am managing. I don't need to add another one. I think it's more important to focus on what you have.
Got it.
Know,
so
I'm
I'll
kind of
cover LinkedIn because I know some of you guys want that, but let's talk about building up coaches.
Yes, sorry, I'm like the exact opposite. I really want to learn about LinkedIn, and my whole word for 2018 is omnipresence, and I want to be anywhere you go, you see Courtney Burton, and so I want to learn a little bit about LinkedIn.
Okay, I'll cover both. Because I think there's going to be definitely both sides of it, and I understand that. So let's talk about actually onboarding your coaches. Team training and training my new coaches was something that, I'll be honest with you guys, a lot of that stressed me out in the beginning because we have our first 30 days and there's a lot of great content, and then you see coaches that are doing their own thing. Some of you might have upline teams that are that have a training you can plug them into. I did not have that. And I wanted to add my own flair to the training along with what Beachbody did. Okay. So you have to figure out what's right for you in the channel that you want to use. I am a very digital person. So automated emails, Google Drives, a coach training on Facebook, that's my preferred method. Okay. So I'll do a getting started right call with every single coach via Zoom. If you're on my team, we're going to do a getting started right call. And then after that, I'm going to plug you into a process. So I'm going to plug you into, there's like an email drip campaign that I do. And then throughout the year, we'll hold team trainings. When it comes to training a coach, guys, I never had a team training. So here's what it doesn't mean someone can't be successful if you don't have the perfect training. But here's what I want to talk about when you develop your coaches. Remember this, you cannot want something for them more than they want it for themselves. And I learned that the hard way. Because you'll have the person in front of you who has all the potential in the world and they're not doing anything with the business. And you get so hung up on that person that you're not recruiting the person that might not have the most potential, but they have the drive and the willpower to get it done. So stop focusing on people that don't deserve your attention. And I know we hear it all the time from coaches, run with your runners, but how often do we see ourselves running behind someone and pushing them? And you have to stop doing that if you have the big goals that you do for this year, because they are total time wasters. Another thing I implemented last year was you're going to have a lot of people that want your attention, but they don't deserve your attention. And it was really hard for me to get to this point, but I finally drew a line in the sand and I said, when someone would reach out to me that's not showing up on team calls, someone that's not participating on the page, someone that never hit Success Club, they're not doing the basics, I did a getting started right call with you. You need to show up to the next one that I do. You guys hear that? Okay. sorry. So they need to show up. So when people like that would reach out, I started saying what I heard from Melanie Mitro, which is send me 2 weeks of your business activity tracker and I'll get on the phone with you. There were a couple people that were not very happy that that was the message I put out. I will tell you guys that. It's not like the people who you have to say that to, let's be honest, right? Like they want to waste your time. They don't really want to do the activities. So be very careful of time wasters, and never stop recruiting. You might think you have the perfect team today to get you to your goal. You have no idea what's going to happen out there. You're absolute like diehard person on your team. Something could happen and now you have to replace them. So never stop recruiting new people onto your team. When it comes to recruiting, can I just get a show of hands? How many of you actively recruit coaches that are not challengers? Good. That's awesome. Okay, great. That's huge, I think. And that's what my mindset change was. When I first came on board in my very first 6 to 8 months, I was taught that you just go challenger route. And then last year, I read the book, Get Over Your Damn Self. And if you haven't read that, you should read it because it's awesome. And that was when I was like, I'm recruiting. My prior life I used to recruit, I was a sales manager. So it was like, why wasn't I doing this all along? Make sure that you are actively recruiting for the business side. And there's very few people that I don't ask about the coaching opportunity. Okay. I am going to cover LinkedIn because here's why. Even if you don't think you want to use LinkedIn, I do think a lot of what you're going to learn on here, you can recruit on any platform. Okay. Because I'm going to share my word tracks for you guys. I'm going to share screen and go over, where is it? Okay. So why LinkedIn? Why do I actually think LinkedIn is worth your time? Because I know there's a lot of channels out there, and I'm actually not a fan of using every single channel. I don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. But let me explain to you why I think LinkedIn is worth your time, okay? Number one, it's a recruiting platform, you guys. That is why people are there. So when someone messages you, right? When I get a message on LinkedIn, I feel special. I'm not in the job market. I'm not looking for a new career. But when a recruiter messages me, I'm like, yeah, they want me. People are not annoyed by you, unlike other platforms, right? So if you're on LinkedIn, you're expecting to get recruiting messages. That's the first reason. There's not as many people from MLMs. Okay, so there's not a lot of Beachbody people. There's not a lot of MLM people. And the people that I've seen on there are doing it totally wrong. Okay, and I'll talk about what I consider wrong and right. But the majority of them are awful on LinkedIn, which is great because I can teach you guys how I think you should do it effectively and stand out from those people. When you get a coach on LinkedIn, they are a business builder. So the 5th person to hit diamond on my team last year, she did not become a coach until September, you guys. She had to turn diamond by November. Okay, her and I met on LinkedIn. She was a total stranger. I did not know her prior to LinkedIn. When you do get a coach, I'm not saying you're going to collect coaches like you're collecting toys, but when you do get a coach, they're a business builder because you recruited them off a business building platform. All right, so let's talk about what you should do on LinkedIn. It is similar to Facebook and what we've learned on Instagram in that you do want to build relationships, okay? The biggest don'ts, it's not so much the posting. I'll show you guys my page and I do some posting, but it's not the posting that's going to bring you the most traction on LinkedIn, okay? Definitely don't post the same content that you would on Facebook on Instagram. There are people that will disagree with me on that, but from what I found is it tends to be a little bit more of a conservative audience. Even if it's the same audience, they have a little bit more of a conservative goggle on when they're on LinkedIn. So I don't share bikini before and afters on LinkedIn, all right? But people do, I will tell you that. It wasn't my approach. What do share? I share about trips, right? Because a lot of people have President's Club trips. I came from a company where you couldn't take your spouse on trips. So I got to go to a lot of cool places, but I couldn't take my husband with me. So you can bet that on my LinkedIn, I blast that. Every time I qualify for a trip with my husband, it's all over there, right? So know your audience. But for the most part, the content is going to be different. the likes and the comments are few. Okay, so you're not going to get the same traction, and you can't worry about that. It doesn't matter so much on LinkedIn. I personally choose not to mention Beachbody, and the LinkedIn training that I originally got where I learned all of this says not to mention your MLM. Do I share financial? Yep, I do share financial posts, absolutely. Because let's be honest, when you're recruited on LinkedIn, a lot of times, like if you remember, if any of you guys worked in corporate back in the day, what's the first thing you want to know? What's the compensation package? So yeah, totally, you can share financial information. It's a great place for it. Okay, so I am going to share screen with you guys and take you to my LinkedIn. Can you guys see my screen? Can someone give me a?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, perfect. Okay, so we're gonna go over to my profile, and as you can see, it doesn't scream Beachbody. I have my name, I have a little mission statement, so my mission statement, and you should pick something that speaks to you. On a mission to empower women to change their lives through leadership, healthy living, and strength in mind and body. And you'll see here, like I do some posts, but not very many. Right here, it's got my team information. It's got past experience, but it doesn't say Beachbody on it. I do want to show you guys or walk you guys through the very first steps. When you first build your LinkedIn, and I can't really take you guys back to that just yet, it's going to allow you to add connections. You're going to have to do that first. If you don't have your own connections, everything I'm going to show you is not going to work. So make sure you load up all of your own connections before you try to work your LinkedIn profile, and add as many as possible, even if those connections are not people that would ever join Beachbody, right? Like it doesn't matter at all. Just add anybody that's a connection, because we're going to use those to search. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to go over to this search bucket right here, and you are going to search for people, okay? Do you see here on the right-hand side, we can filter people by, and there's all these options? So you can't do this on other platforms, and I'm not paying to be able to do this. So what I usually do is search second connections. I've got over 3,000 LinkedIn connections, so I'm safe sticking to second. But if you don't have as many LinkedIn connections, go ahead and mark second and third plus, okay? Don't just stick to your second, or you're not gonna get a big enough pool that comes back to you. And then what I like to search for is usually industries. So one of my favorites is education. So I'll do primary, secondary, and then locations. And I pick different things all the time. Like I have a really good team in Dallas right now, so I'm gonna pick Dallas. And you could see I just did this actually, because I've already sent these invites. I did the same search already, but I'm gonna come down and I'm going to just start sending out connections. And this is totally up to you guys, but I usually just send them to women because that's my target market. And I'm going to not spend too much time on customizing, because where this pops up, they don't see it very well, okay? So I'm just gonna go ahead and hit send, and I'm gonna go to this one and hit connect, send. All right, so I'm gonna do about 15 to 20 of these, and that's gonna be the only task that I do today. That's it. I'm gonna come back tomorrow. So this is an every other day process. I'm gonna come back tomorrow, and I am going to go to my network, and I'm gonna see all connections. And then do you see here how it has all these people that it says like when we connected? I'm gonna open them up, and what you wanna do is connect, like I've already messaged these, so I'm not gonna message them again, but I wanna show you guys what I would do. So actually this one I have not yet. So I'm gonna open link in new tab, open link in new tab, and I'm gonna open up all the ones that have accepted my connection that I haven't talked to yet. I'm gonna come over here and I'm going to check out their profile. All right, my computer's being a little slow. And I'm gonna see like what it is about them that I could chat about. Now I came from Paychex, that was the career that I was at for a pretty long time. So I easily have something to talk to her about. Kristen Palmer, she's from San Francisco, which is where I'm from. She's a realtor. Okay, I'm going to talk about that. And so let me walk you guys through what those messages look like. Okay, so you never want to send more than 15 to 20 connections a day, or you'll be in LinkedIn jail, just like if you were in Facebook jail. So 15 to 20. This is gold. Oh, I thought you were going to say this is cold. I'm like, it is a cold market. Okay, so I'm going to open up all these messages, and I open up the tabs because it just makes it super fast. I'm going to go to their profile and find one thing that I can talk about. And this is what I'm going to say to them. Thanks for the connection. It's nice to meet you. Insert personalized one-liner, okay? Thanks for the connection. It's nice to meet you. That one-liner, try to make it a question. How long have you been at Paychex? I was there for a few years, okay? Something like that. Try to stay away from how do you like what you do? Because I'm going to tell you guys something. If someone was a performer, I loved where I was at, I was performing very well, I was at the top of my career, I would never tell you I didn't like my job, even though there were so many things I did not like. I would never admit it to a recruiter. So don't ask that question. How do you like what you're doing? Don't ask it. Just ask about how long they've been there. How did you get into your field? Something to that extent, okay? And then if they respond to you, which takes about a day, people don't check LinkedIn the way they do Facebook. So that's why things are always done like every other day. When they respond to you, not everyone's going to respond, but when they do, the next thing, we kind of have a conversation, right? Just depending on what they say, we kind of chat. And then I'm going to drop the second line that I have, like the next word track, which is, one of the reasons I reached out to you is because I'm expanding my company and I'm looking to partner with smart and successful leaders like yourself. Quick question for you. Do you keep your business options open? Okay. Just like that. Quick question for you. Do you keep your business options open? And if they say, yep, I'm open to other opportunities, I'm going to tell you right now, people will say yes. You'll be shocked. It's not like Facebook, because they're used to getting recruiters. And most people in the corporate world have this idea of, I should never shut a door, right? Like, why would you shut a door? I should at least hear someone out. And so then the next thing I do is, awesome. When they say yes, let's get on a call and I can tell you more, learn about you, and see if this is something that would be a fit for us both. When I'm on the phone with them, I spend the first part of the call just getting to know them, just like a recruiter would. I'm asking questions about them. I'm asking about what they love, what they don't love. I want to find out just what kind of person this is, what are things that they would maybe like about coaching, and maybe they're not a fit, right? So we just chat for a bit and I ask a lot of questions. And then I share my story, okay? So my story of corporate and how I got into this. And I tell them I am looking for someone to help me build, train, and develop sales organizations on a local, regional, and national level. We are then paid on every customer that these teams bring in, creating a residual stream of income for our efforts. It's a different conversation than Facebook. These people are here to talk about compensation and would it make sense from a financial perspective. However, I don't want to take the Beachbody side out of it, because I'm going to tell you guys right now, a lot of these people, when we start talking fitness, they're going to come to you with all of their fitness struggles. And that's where you can also talk to them about how coaching can help you physically and with your health goals and your fitness goals. Because how many people are in the corporate world that are overweight, depressed, they have no time to work out, and they're not taking care of themselves, right? So the Beachbody piece of it, like, don't get stuck just on the building a business, is a huge part of it. There are some people on that conversation that are just not going to be a fit for coaching, but they're a total fit for our groups. And I have actually had quite a few challengers come from LinkedIn, okay? Right? Because they just might not at all be into coaching, or it's just not for them. But I've yet to find that many people on LinkedIn that are like, I need no help with health and fitness. I'm going to check. No questions on here. I'm going to stop for a minute and
Z, I have a
let you
few
guys.
questions.
Oh, one last thing. If someone can't get on a phone call, then I send a video. So just that's my next step. If they won't get on a phone call. Okay, hit me with questions.
Okay, so Z, this is Mary. So I have a couple questions for you. What would you tell someone? What would your advice be? I mentioned this to a coach earlier, and she has a LinkedIn for her job, which is monitored by her job. Is it suggested to get a different profile?
Why is it monitored? Can I ask? Why is it monitored?
She's with a financial institution, and I guess that's just what they do.
Well, here's what I mean by the word monitored, though. Because are they watching your messages, or does she monitor it as in what she posts? Because you can do what I'm doing without one public post.
Okay.
Because I doubt they're monitoring. Like it's very unlikely they'd be reading her messages unless she had a recruiter account, which means her company's paying for a recruiter account. And that's a whole different subject. And I probably would not use it for Beachbody because now you're using company money. Correct. But if she means monitored, meaning like what she posts, not an issue at all, because you don't need to post to do this. Most of what I've gotten from this has had nothing to do with posting. So she should just not post, because you're right. You don't want to be working for a company and here you are like posting about Beachbody. Totally. I wouldn't do that. Okay. Yeah. Just have her private messages, totally different.
Perfect. Okay. And then
I mean, you could have two LinkedIn, but I never dabbled with that.
Okay. Courtney has a question, it looks like.
Yeah, I do. Do you post like once a day on your, like, do people even look at a LinkedIn profile, or they really just look at your, like, your about you
asked that? Because I did like a few posts and they have crazy views. Like, you can view your stats on it. I can see what market's looking. I mean, it's amazing that LinkedIn gives us all this information and it's not paid. Like on Facebook, you have to pay for this. I can tell you who viewed my post from what company, what region. I've had posts in the like 5,000, 10,000 views. So it's nuts. Like, you will get you'll get attraction on your post. People don't comment and like as much, but that's not where most of my business came from. That's the interesting part. So the private messages have been the gold, like in all of this. The posting does get reach. And I've had a few, like, I mean, I'll share like my Google form in my post, and I've had a few people complete it, but it just hasn't been like this. Like if I do 15 to 20 reaches today, and then tomorrow I do 15 to 20, or let's say I do 15 to 20 connections today, and I have 10 people that accept, and I send 10 personal messages, I can almost book 1 to 2 coach calls a day, you guys. The numbers are insane. Where the post, it's like, yeah, it's there, but it's not where I don't think the money's at. I see another question. What kind of video do you share with prospects who won't get on a call? It's a 7.5-minute video of my coaching story, because my story has a major corporate feel to it, right? So it's just kind of giving them a little bit of an intro, and that's if they won't get on the call with me, right? I just want to give them a little taste, and then hopefully they watch that short video, and then they'll get on the phone, right? I don't want to give everything away. And then I just follow like the Eric Worre GoPro method of, when are you going to be able to watch it, and follow up, when you send a video. But it's my story. That's all it is.
I have a question. Sorry. I'm like a crazy person.
That's okay.
I'm just like really interested in this. Like, I'm not a professional. Okay. Like, I'm like a waitress to a ski bum to somehow a Beachbody coach. Like, is this going to be like a platform?
You're fine.
I mean, I feel like maybe some people will be interested in that because they don't want to be professional. They would rather be a ski bum.
Like, the fact that I'm a professional background, I use it to my ability to connect with people, but it's just that's my thing. That's what's helped me. But the platform, it doesn't matter. Like, you just need to know other people that have a LinkedIn to get started. And that's how you build your following, right? Because that's how you do your second and third connections. But your background, no, I might actually prefer it, right? Because it's really cool. So don't let that phase you at all. It doesn't matter. Let's see. Do you have a specific? So 2 questions. Do you have something that has no corporate background? Okay, so I think I answered that. Yep, doesn't matter at all. And do you have a specific set of questions that you ask when you get on the phone with them? I treat it just like I would if I actually got someone from like Facebook, which I've always learned, like, the more I learn about them, then the more I can focus my talk to their goals. So I would say, well, tell me about, what you do. Tell me about what makes you who you are. That's one of my favorite questions. So I'd say, like, Courtney, it's really cool to meet you. I'd love to like learn what makes you Courtney, right? Can you kind of walk me through like who you are? And some people totally jump in and they just tell me their whole life story. And some people you've got to like, you know, pull it out of them. And then that kind of determines how many questions I'll ask versus how much, you know, talking I have to do or they do. So I'll start with that. And then if they're not giving me anything to work with, then I'll just say like, how did you end up doing what you're doing? If you could do anything different in the world, you know, what would it be? When I say the words health and fitness, what comes to your mind? Because I want to know what comes to their mind. Oh my God, I got to work on it. That's like horrible for me. Or I'm really passionate about it, but I just don't have time for it. I want to hear like when I use those words, what triggers go off in their head. Yes, Courtney said you can show how you live and how awesome lifestyle that is non-corporate. Lots of people want to get out of the corporate gig. And I totally agree. Being someone that was very corporate and I thought there was no other option for me. I went to school, I got my MBA, I did like that route. The idea to change careers sounded amazing, but I figured like there's no way I'm going to eat. Like that's what you get stuck in your head when you're in corporate. And I was being fast tracked to VP at the time. And in my eyes, like you can't earn money any other way. And then it was actually my husband who's like totally the opposite personality. He's in corporate, but he's always wanted to get out. He's a musician who's like, no, chase your dreams, right? So if someone had talked to me when I was in corporate, I absolutely would have listened if you had told me I can actually make money doing this.
I love it. Is that him? Is that your husband?
Yeah, he just laughed.
Yay. So I had a question, and I guess you didn't see it, but do you ever cross creep them on Facebook or Instagram?
What?
Do you
yeah, absolutely. Totally. Especially if they won't talk to me, but there's like something about them that I like their profile. Like, let's say we do talk via Messenger on LinkedIn, but they won't get on a phone. I can't get them to watch a video. I'll actually say, hey, is it okay if we connect on Facebook? So there's actually like one specific gal who, if you guys know who Jatana is, right? She was Miss like state. I don't remember state is, but right. She's a pageant girl. And I met this girl who is like a pageant girl and she's super into health and fitness, but just Virginia. And she would not get on the phone with me. She just refused to like take the next step, but we had good rapport. You know how it is sometimes. So then I asked to add her on Facebook, and a couple months later off of Facebook, she was willing to talk to me. So yes, you definitely want to try and add them on other channels if you can. That's a good question. Mm-hmm.
Okay, that kind of falls into my question. Do you have a hard time with people who are on LinkedIn? Because I feel like often they might not be on Facebook because a lot of people are leaving it. You know, if they're corporate people, do you have a hard time? Like we do challenge groups there and stuff. Do you have a hard translation?
That's why I moved my challenge groups to the app, because Instagram people, you guys, a lot of them now I think are like, I don't have a Facebook, but yes, I did have a problem with that actually. A lot of them did not have a Facebook, or they're not into Facebook as much. So I'll try to add them on other channels, but I've converted all my challenge groups to the app now. And that's a really good question.
Thanks. Can I ask one more?
Yeah.
I think you said that education is one of your favorites to look at. Is that just because you were looking at for women who tends to be in the education system who are looking for, you know, side money and they have families, or is there a reason?
Teachers are the highest or the most successful background for MLMs. That's like, yeah, 100%. I would even say, if I look at my team, like there is a correlation there. I was not a teacher, so that's not why I reach out to them, but I can tell them a lot of teacher stories from my team. But if you look at all multi-level marketing companies, teachers are the historically the most successful. Yeah. And you think about it, they work really hard. They're really good at training because they're teaching, and they're usually underpaid.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Background. Yeah. Do you have a team page on? Yeah. So I do have a team page on Facebook. And if you are going to be a coach, you are going to make a Facebook until we have another, until Beachbody comes up with something one day. I don't know if anything's ever going to change, but yes, I mean, you are going to be part of the team page on Facebook, but at least, bye Courtney, at least the challenge group aspect of it where, is going to be, for me now, it's taken off. And usually if someone sees the business opportunity, they don't mind creating a Facebook for that reason. just to connect to the team. But you don't have to use your Facebook to build this. And I tell them that if they don't want to use Facebook. I actually think Instagram and LinkedIn are more powerful, in my opinion. Than I have a following from Facebook from when I started, but I don't, like new coaches, I don't think that's the best place to put your time unless you have a following already.
So awesome, you guys. Are there any other questions before we let Z go? Any others?
And it doesn't have to be about LinkedIn if you guys have any other questions.
So Z, that was amazing. Amazing.
Thank you.
So Danny does have another.
Why do I think Instagram is more powerful? Yeah, I'll definitely share the scripts for you guys in regards to Instagram. Because Facebook algorithms, so the new stuff that came out, I don't know if you guys saw that, I do think it's going to help some new coaches. And I'm not anti-Facebook. Actually, more of my business comes from Facebook still than anything else. But if you don't have a Facebook following already built, the younger generation, they're on LinkedIn and Instagram. I will tell you guys that. The younger generation is on LinkedIn and Instagram. And think about like who's going to be our new rising leaders. That's where you're going to find them. The more and more I talk to those in their 20s, which is not me, but Facebook. And so that's what makes me think it's not where I want to teach my coaches to put all their time. I will work it as long as I have a following. And if it's working for people, that's fine. But if they're frustrated on it, I don't want them to quit coaching because they think their Facebook following is a reflection of their effort. Where I think on Instagram and LinkedIn, you can get a lot more bang for your buck. And by bang for your buck, on LinkedIn, I had a paid account for a while. And I realized you don't need one at all. Actually, the system I use is 100% a free account now. And here's the final thing I'll say about LinkedIn. I don't know if that will stay free forever. Every single connection, most of them are personal. So if there's someone that like ghosts me after a while, I will send a personal email. And it's like, hey, you're my connection. It's not a cold market. Like you're connected to me. I was able to do UK searches off of LinkedIn. I mean, you guys, the opportunity of LinkedIn is huge for those reasons. The amount, and I don't know if it'll stay this way forever. I think at one point, maybe they're going to say, we're going to start, monetizing all of this.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I can definitely post the script. You're so welcome. You guys feel free to reach out if you have any questions.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to stop recording, you guys.